Hello, Dr. Curt.
Hey, Katie, how are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you
Today, this
going?
morning?
How are you
Good.
going?
We're driving. My son is driving the truck, and I'm sitting as passenger. And we're heading out to go kayak along the river in Washington.
Okay, great. You're cutting in and out a bit. So how's the reception where you are?
I should be good now for a while. We just had to get over that mountain.
Okay, great. All right, I'll get the presentation going. So thanks for joining us today, everyone, and welcome. Dr. Curt's traveling today, so he'll be joining us from the car. And we've got some great content today on the topic of weight loss. And I've called the topic bingo wings, love handles. The question is, what can you do about it? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And I've got some slides to share. So let me bring those up. I'm just going to hit the record button here. So if you're watching us on Facebook, welcome. Thanks for watching us. And maybe you've taken the time to watch the recording. Not everyone can be on with us live on Saturday, which is fine. And so you can always watch the recording, which is great to take the time to do that. So let me just share my screen here, and I'm going to bring these slides up. So let's see here. All right, great. Oops, wrong button. Hang on a second here. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, great. So reduce your wobbly bits, bingo wings and love handles. We've got some success stories too. Actually, I didn't have Curt's name on there. So Curt is a doctor of chiropractic, and he is also a wellness consultant. Curt's had, 30 years plus in nutritional medicine, Curt? Are you still there? Oh, I think I might have lost him. Hang on, let's just see. Oh, yeah, he's dropped out. His phone line's dropped out. But yes, Dr. Curt will be back with us shortly. Yeah, Curt's had over 30 years experience with nutritional medicine. He's been involved in running stem cell clinics. He's certainly well versed in a lot of nutritional supplementation and has a great and deep understanding of ingredients and the health benefits they can bring you and your family. Myself, I've recently completed a qualification in health and nutrition coaching. I've got a degree in health, an interest in bodybuilding and weightlifting, and all things health and health prevention. So Curt and I love doing these calls. If you can't already tell, if you're watching us each week, or if you've just tuned in for the first time, we really enjoy sharing this content with you. It's something that we love. So we'll get on to the topic. And just to say a disclaimer that none of the information in this presentation is designed to treat, prevent, or cure any disease or illness. If you are unwell, you should definitely consult your healthcare provider, and even before taking supplements to make sure that's all good. So we're not going to be talking specifically on products, but we are going to be talking about ingredients that you can find in products, and we're going to encourage you to get back to the person who shares this with you for more information. So this is a question that people have about bingo wings, thick thighs, and love handles. As we age, it does get a lot harder to manage our weight. And there's a number of reasons. Obviously, the body starts to wear out. Cells are breaking down faster than the body can repair them compared to when we were younger. The metabolism does tend to slow a little bit as we get older, and we're more prone to muscle loss. And of course, what happens is when we lose muscle, we replace muscle, we gain more fat, not so much replace it, but we gain fat and have less muscle. Now, when we have less muscle, our metabolism slows down. So if you don't have much muscle, but you have a lot of body fat, you actually don't need to eat much food to maintain it. And then you get into this vicious cycle where you're overeating, and so you're gaining more body fat and you lose muscle because you're not exercising. It's a lot easier for a young person to gain muscle than it is an older person, but that is actually not to say that it can't be done. Definitely as you age, it is really important to keep up body resistance work, using your own body weight as resistance, or doing some light weights or things like Pilates and stuff like that to maintain your muscle mass. And at the very least, you want to maintain your mobility. So if you're suffering from injury, spinal issues, which many people have or may do, and I can certainly relate to that, then you want to be doing anything that you can to maintain your mobility into your older age, because, you know, the old saying goes, use it or lose it. And nothing is more true when it comes to our own body. So one of the things that people, you know, have challenges with, they start to accumulate fat more so in certain places. Some people get more of it on their arms, some people more on their legs. Some people maybe get more body fat stored on their hips, and some people may be more fortunate and have an even spread all over. So people ask, you know, can you spot target fat loss? Like if you've got fat in a particular area, can you just kind of go after that one area and lose it from that one area? Generally, if you want to lose it from one area, you need to lose it from everywhere. You may lose body fat from one area faster than the other, but ultimately that'll come down to your own genetics and how you specifically store body fat for your particular genetics. So there's a whole, you know, a bunch of other factors there, but that's sort of the main gist of it. So if you do want to lose fat, the best thing to do is gain muscle, so that your metabolism speeds up, and it also would fill that gap. So you could see on this person's arm here, they've got quite a bit of body fat there. If that person, and the muscle in the arm there is actually quite small, you can see the bicep arm is quite small. So if this person, say, wanted to reduce the fat on their arms, the best thing they could do is, you know, restrict their or modify their diet. So they're eating healthier foods so that their calorie intake is less than their output. So they want to be burning more calories than they're consuming. So that way the body goes into fat burning mode. And we're going to talk about some ingredients that can assist you to go into fat burning mode and start burning that fat. But you also want to be putting on some more muscle, because if you've got more muscle, then it tightens out the skin. And with the muscle tightening out the skin, then you don't have skin hanging. So if you've got hanging skin on your legs or your arms, part of it is not just that you've got body fat, you actually just don't have enough muscle under there to kind of stretch out the skin. So you want to have some muscle, and it's not about looking big or bulky, but we do need a certain amount of muscle just for general health and well-being and mobility. So, you know, that's something to consider. So we've kind of covered that topic. I'm just seeing if Kurt's jumped back on. Is he back on here? Let me just check here. His phone dropped out. No, that's okay. We'll keep going without him. Yeah, so that's just some of the tips there. Now, people get really confused. Well, Katie, I don't really know what I should be eating. There's so many diets out there. There's like paleo, there's vegan diet, there's keto diet. There's all these different diets, you know, which one should I be doing? And there's no right or wrong answer. It really comes back down to the individual. Hang on, let me just mute everyone out here. I'm just gonna, I've got some muting, hang on. Sorry, just, okay, we're good. Yeah, so everyone's a little bit different. Some people can digest fats really well. Some people have trouble with digesting fat. Some people are better at digesting protein than others, and that comes back to your genetics. So certain diets may suit you better, but at the end of the day, you do need to be consuming less calories than you're burning. So you need to burn more calories than you're consuming, is another way to put it. One of the best ways also to do that is to fill your diet full of fruit and vegetables. The recommended daily intake for vegetables every day is 5 servings. I talk about this a lot. I've started an Instagram account, and I'm trying to do little videos to educate people about the 2 fruit 5 veg program, which is actually recommended as the guidelines here in Australia. Now, 5 servings of vegetables is actually quite a lot of food. If you weigh out 5 servings, and a serving is 75 grams in weight, so you need a food scales so you can actually gauge the volume of food that I'm talking about. So every day it is recommended that you consume 5 servings of vegetable and 2 of fruit. It's actually a lot of food, and that's not all you're meant to consume. Obviously, you're still meant to eat your protein, you know, your steak or your chicken, your fish, if you're vegetarian, your beans, and so forth, you know, your nuts, healthy fats, your carbohydrates, preferably whole grains. But included as part of that is your fruit and veg, and it's just really important for weight loss and weight maintenance. So that is really an important tip. And I'd say, hands down, the reason I've been able to maintain my weight, the reason I can lose body fat easily if I want to, is by sticking to the 2 fruit 5 veg rule. If I want to gain weight, I can do it really quickly too. All I need to do is go out and wine and dine or overeat, eat the wrong types of food, and I definitely will gain body fat pretty quickly, and it's probably as quick as anyone else as well. So we've kind of talked about monitoring your kind of diet. Now, people say, oh, that's too much. I'm not going to watch what I eat. I'm not going to count the calories. And you don't have to. If you can just make some lifestyle changes, that being incorporating the more of the vegetables in the diet, more fruits, and being consistent every single day, not just doing it once a week or twice a week, but really making that effort to include it as part of your diet, you will start to see positive changes in your appearance, in your body fat levels, and you will get some good results there. So we've talked about calories and why they're important. So some people have challenged losing weight because they even don't understand that food has energy and how much energy it has. They don't know the difference between the energy from one muffin to a burger or to chips. If you have no idea about the energy intake of the food you're eating, then how could you possibly know when you're overeating or you're undereating? Because it's not by volume, because I can assure you that I eat an extremely large volume of food, but a lot of it is the vegetables and the fruits. And so the calories in the vegetables and fruits is very low in comparison to having things like chips and burgers, protein-based foods like that, or fatty foods even. So, or being aware of the energy intake of your food is really important. So if you're struggling with your weight and you're listening to this call, I really urge you to take some time to educate yourself about the energy intake of food. You don't need to get into the whole math and understand everything about the carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. You can use an app to do that. There's lots of great apps that you can download onto your phone, and you can enter the food in and it'll work it all out for you. So if you're looking to lose body fat, you want to aim for about 1/2 to 1 kilo of weight loss a week. You don't want to lose weight too quickly because that's not good and not sustainable. And it ends up being mostly water anyway. Just to give you an idea, this chart on the right is body fat levels. So the healthy range is meant to be no more than 25%. So sort of somewhere between the third and fourth picture there on the second line down is in that sort of healthy range. When you're getting up to the 27%, you're a little bit overweight there. And then from the bottom row, you're starting to get quite overweight. And then obviously at 50% or higher body fat, that's not great there. You're into the obese. Now, similarly, the top row is too lean. That would be for an athlete or somebody training for a competition. I have been that lean before. It does require a lot of dedication, and I will say you're pretty much hungry because your body's in full starvation mode by that point to get your body fat down to that level. So that's important to kind of note, and it's really not healthy to be at those sort of levels. Because it affects hormones. So you want to be, like with everything, too much of a good thing always applies. So you want to be in the kind of healthy range. You want to aim for sort of 21 to 26 at the outside percent. So the third and fourth picture there is kind of the goal for optimum health. Now we've got suggested calorie intake for women and men. So again, if you don't understand the energy intake of food, this is something you want to educate yourself on, just so that you can manage your life better. So that when you go, Katie, I'm eating really healthy, but it's not working. Why isn't it working? Well, maybe one of the snacks that you're having has 2 or 3 times the amount of calories that you think it does. And that's why you're not losing weight. And I had this happen to me when I was 18. I went overseas on a holiday to Hawaii. I think I've told this story before, but anyway, I went on a overseas holiday to Hawaii with the family. Ate whatever I wanted for 2 weeks. We had like Burger King, McDonald's, spaghetti, ice creams, the whole works for, I think it was like full 2 weeks, just whatever I wanted. I think I gained within 2 weeks, I gained quite a lot of fat. It was at least a stone, maybe 1.5 stones. So probably like 8 kilos. I gained a good 7 or 8 kilos in that time. Then when I came back from holiday, I'm like, okay, I need to lose this body fat. And I started on eating healthy, so what I thought was healthy. And at the end of about 3 weeks, I hadn't lost any weight. And I was like, I'm still haven't lost any weight. What's going on here? And I started to review the energy intake of the food that I was eating. And I was having this really big bowl of muesli in the morning. And it was like, not a standard serving. I was having probably a triple serving. But because muesli can have like coconut in it and lots of nuts and high energy, healthy, but high energy food, it was like triple the calories that I thought I was. And it was basically stopping me from dropping that body fat. So I changed up the breakfast to something different and then was sort of on my way. So understanding the topic of calories is important. It's not everything, but if you want, a good education about general nutrition, that is important. Portion size matters, although as I said, I have large portions of fruit and vegetables. So when it comes to that kind of food, you can overindulge on fruit and vegetables and you're really not going to gain weight. Maybe if you ate lots of coconut and bananas, you probably would. But like things like broccoli and cauliflower and that, you know, you can really have quite very generous servings of that because they're low calorie, high levels of nutrition. They're also high in fiber. So it really helps you move your food through the system, and it assists with maintaining your weight. And also, you know, fiber in food is really important for gut health. It's important for bowel cancer prevention. It's important for maintaining the good balance of bacteria in your gut. It's also important for, it helps with cholesterol, and it helps to maintain blood sugar levels. Fiber in food slows down the absorption of the sugars. And so then your insulin levels, your sugar levels in your blood don't spike as much. So fiber is really important. And so that's just a note there. So I do have a food scales, and I tend to use it because it's easy to get heavy-handed with food. Like if you have a serving of chicken, you go, oh, that's one serving. But if you weigh it and find out it's probably could be a double serving instead of a single, because we can easily just start to get sort of heavy-handed, a little bit over generous with our serving size. And then we go, well, I'm still eating really healthy, but I'm gaining weight. Why is that? And it may be that you're just eating too much. Now, I did say before you can eat a lot of the fruit and veg, which is true. But, you know, if you eat a lot of meats and breads and stuff like that, certainly you can start gaining weight, you know, that way as well. So you can read the labels, get an understanding of how to read the nutritional facts on a packet of food. Obviously, you don't do that on fresh food because fruit and vegetables doesn't have a label, and that's the best type of food that doesn't have a label, because it means it hasn't really been processed and it doesn't by law require a nutritional label. So that's another important note there. So portion sizes, remember I was talking about the muesli. So really on the bottom picture there, the size of the muesli I should have been having was like sort of the bottom left one, but the size that I probably was having was more the top right one, sorry, the bottom right one there, which is like a triple serving. So you can see that when you jump up to the servings, you know, you quickly double, triple the calorie size. So that's important to note there as well. And we've talked about that not all calories are equal, so that you can eat a lot of vegetables, especially the green vegetables. You know, when I was doing these bodybuilding diets, they would give me this diet where it was a calorie restricted diet, but the thing that was unrestricted was green vegetables. The diet stipulated that you can eat as much as you want of green vegetables. Because the thing is that in the chewing and the processing of the green vegetables, you're burning more calories than pretty much you're consuming. There's so much fiber in it, so low sugar, that those type of green vegetables go pretty much straight through you. So you can fill up on vegetables, and vegetables are a really great way to bulk out a meal. So when you're making a meal with a nice sauce and you might have some protein in there, maybe some chicken or fish or seafood or whatever your choice is of protein, maybe it's beans, you can bulk that out with some vegetables and you can really make the meal quite large. And there's no way that you would feel hungry once you've bulked that food out with a good amount of veggies. So protein is recommended for every meal. If you're struggling with weight and you're eating too many carbohydrates, it may be that you're having inadequate protein levels in your diet. A small serving of protein with each meal helps with your metabolism. It helps to maintain that muscle mass, which we've discussed is really important as we age. We want to maintain our muscle. And if we drop our protein levels too low, then our body will start to utilize more muscle and we'll lose that muscle that we've had, and we don't want to do that. And I remember I've had this argument with people. I remember when I was younger, how old was I? I was probably like 27. And my partner at the time, my boyfriend, he's a bodybuilder. And I'd convinced him at the time to go on this vegetarian diet with me. And so we went from cutting out meat to eating like lots of chickpeas and lentils and stuff like that. And it's really healthy. But for him and the amount of weight training he was doing, there's just not enough protein for him without taking a protein supplement, of course, in straight lentils and chickpeas. And so what happened was he ended up losing weight really quickly. And it wasn't losing fat because he didn't have any fat to lose, but he was dropping muscle. And I think he lost like 7 kilos of muscle over a period of months. And it was because he cut out the animal protein and he wasn't substituting it with a protein shake. The amount of protein you need depends on your height, your weight, the amount of muscle you have, and the amount of exercise you do. So it does vary. So what is good for him may not be good for you or for the next person. But at the end of the day, everybody does need a certain amount of protein for optimum health and to maintain muscle. And that's why we see a lot of the weight loss support products. A lot of them are meal replacements or protein shakes to kind of bump up that protein and help with maintaining muscle and aiding in fat loss. I see, Curt, you're back on the call, which is great.
I'm here.
Great, because we're getting up to the section where we're going to talk about ingredients that can support your fat loss journey and help with those kind of bingo wings and love handles. But I think I've touched on this slide quite a bit, which is about fiber. So you'll get your fiber from your plant-based sources. There is no fiber in animal product. So if you're having like milk or ice cream, yogurt, meat, the amount of fiber in that is 0. Okay. And so you need the fiber to push that through the digestive tract. You need fiber to push it through, push it along your digestive tract and push it out the system as waste product. And, you know, that comes from your fruit and your vegetables, whole grains, plant-based whole grains, nuts and seeds, or any foods that are fortified with fiber, or of course a fiber supplement, which we're going to touch on shortly, can be of great assistance for people. Talk about empty calories. I already gave that story about me going to Hawaii, eating burgers and chips for like a week and two weeks, and how much weight I gained. So yeah, you want to basically watch those calories. Exercise is really important. Daily exercise boosts, helps to boost the metabolism, helps to burn fat and build muscle. Now, when I talked about body resistance exercise, you know, you don't need to go to the gym to do resistance exercise. You don't have to do weights, but doing body resistance exercise, you say, well, what does that actually mean? It means using your own body weight as resistance against your muscles so that you build muscle. And a classic example is in the picture on the slide. So you can see the lady sitting on the chair, and then she's standing up, and then she's sitting back down again. So in the process of doing that, she's using her own body weight as resistance, and it's helping to build her glute muscle, which is the muscles in the bottom, her hamstrings, and obviously the rest of her leg muscles. And leg muscles and strength is really important for mobility. So as we age, and particularly see older people, got family members around the 80 age mark, the amount of muscle in their legs will probably be quite low. And so they can easily have falls, because when you don't have enough muscle in your legs, then you're not as stable as somebody who's got lots of muscle, because you can't balance as well, because you need muscle to balance. So having a good amount of muscle is important, at least a maintenance level. So doing a resistance exercise, even like a sit, stand, squat like that with your own body weight, and having that as part of like, you know, your weekly routine, even if you didn't do it every day, if you did it every second day, a few of those to help maintain your leg muscles is really important. The one at the top, obviously she's using weight. She's doing a tricep exercise there and using a weight behind her head. So that's really important. And we talked about targeting the problem areas to build muscle where it's needed. So if you've got your kind of bingo wings, or you've got loose skin on your legs, then you want to build the muscle in that area, because it'll help to stretch out that loose skin, as well as helping with other things. So that's really important. We've talked about the importance of reading the label and understanding calories. So you can see here that a person eating a healthy meal on the right, that's the same amount of calories. So if you're not aware of that, how are you going to manage your weight? Like if you didn't know that the bowl of food on the left has 1,200 calories, that's a Chinese meal, looks like Chinese fried noodles with some deep fried, I don't know, probably chicken or pork or something going on there. Oh, there it is, orange chicken. But then on the right, a turkey sandwich, a salad, 3 apples, 3 cups of berries, and 3 bananas has the same amount of energy intake as the bowl of food on the left. So when I said, you know, volume of food doesn't always count, it's because why? So if we look at the food on the right, it's really bulked out with the fruit and veg. You've got bananas, you've got your fruit, you've got your blueberries, you've got your apples, and then even in the sandwich, whilst they've got a little bit of probably, you know, turkey in there and maybe even some cheese maybe, but, you know, they've got some bread, but you can see it's also got lettuce and tomato in there and that. So there's a lot of fruit and veg going on the right side, and there's pretty much 0 fruit and veg going on the left side, and maybe see a little bit of token greenery amongst the fried noodle there, but it, you know, it's really not adequate enough. So hopefully by watching this presentation, it gives you a bit more of education about choosing better food choices and understanding the energy intake of food. So I think we've kind of covered that again. So this is, you know, if you're eating healthy, what 2,000 calories a day looks like. You know, you can even have your sweets and treats and even a glass of alcohol if you're considering it amongst all the other foods that you're eating. Keeping a counter and understanding this is the first step. So if you've got no idea about any of this, you want to start with measuring and recording food just to educate yourself. It's not something you need to do as a lifelong thing, but really just to get the ball rolling, it can be really helpful. So now I want to talk about ingredients for the last 6 minutes. And so I'm glad Dr. Curt's joined us again. Now, we're not going to so much get into the ingredients. So what I thought we'd do something a little different is actually talk about the benefits of ingredients in a 4-day cleanse. So there's a particular, I guess, product or ingredients that we use that can really assist with doing a 4-day detox. And these are the things that it can help with supporting and accelerating weight loss because it's getting the bowels going. It can help with mucoid plaque and excess fecal matter. It can really improve your digestive system and help eliminate like body toxins. And when you do that, you really help to support your nutrient intake because you're clearing out all those waste products that's blocking the intake of those vitamins getting in and those nutrients getting into the cells through the gut lining. And, it's important to follow instructions if you're taking that. So we do have a detox. So if you're listening to this recording and you're interested in this kind of thing and you want to try a detox, get back to the person who's sharing this with you. Let them know, say, yeah, I'm interested to try the detox to kind of kickstart my weight loss or even, on a new health kick. And I guess we're still in winter, but we're coming into spring soon here. Of course, it's summer in the US. But really, you can do it any time of year and you could do it, multiple times a year. How many times a year would you do a detox, Dr. Curt? Is he still on the call?
I'm back. They kicked me out.
All right. How often do you do a detox? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't know what to do with it. Hang on.
That's okay. You're cutting in and out. That's okay. I'll go to the next slide. Chime in when you can. Okay. So I know I'll answer the question for Curt. I know that he's used the detox product quite a bit, and at times even there was taking fairly regularly. We've got some great testimonials on using those sort of ingredients for a detox. And where other things have failed, this sort of thing can really support. This is all natural ingredients. So do ask the person that's sharing this with you. So in terms of weight loss, there's ingredients that really support the body to go into fat burning mode. And so we've talked about building muscle to help with bingo wings and loose skin, but we want to assist the body in burning fat, and we want to increase our metabolic rate, so our ability to burn fat. And some of the ingredients that assist with that is fucoxanthin and fucoidan. There's lots of research on these particular ingredients showing their benefits and that they actually naturally increase the metabolic rate. BHB, or beta hydroxybutyrate, is a naturally occurring salt found in the body, and this kicks in when we go into ketosis, and that's when the body goes into really fat burning mode. And so by having this particular ingredient can really assist your body to go into ketosis faster and stay there. So it helps your body to burn fat at a faster rate than it may otherwise. Ashwagandha, it's a bit of a tongue twister there. This is a really great adaptogenic herb. It helps with chronic levels of stress. It helps to support the body when it's in a state of elevated cortisol levels. So when we're stressed, our cortisol levels go up. When our cortisol levels go up, we don't burn fat as well. We have more challenges maintaining our weight, and it becomes easier to gain weight. So we want to basically support our body with healthy cortisol levels, the stress levels. And this particular herb is really good at doing that. So, using these sort of ingredients can really support energy and stamina. They can help the metabolism and thermogenesis, so fat burning. It can also help to suppress the appetite. So genetically, and it's been fascinating learning about it, but some people genetically are predisposed to actually feeling more hungry than others. There is a gene that does control your appetite, that tells you, hey, I'm hungry, go eat. And some people have this gene that it's a problem. And for them, they do feel more hungry more often than someone else. And some people have another gene that's not telling them when they're full. And so our brain naturally gives feedback to us when we filled our stomach with food to say, hey, I'm full, stop eating now. Some people, that gene's defective as well. So if you've got both those genes and they're not working that well, then you may be more likely to overeat and also eat too much because you're being told, or you feel like you're hungry all the time. I mean, a classic example of this, Dr. Curt, of course, is a Labrador dog. Pretty much it seems like those two genes are screwed up in the Labrador, because they definitely overeat and they always want to eat even when they're not hungry. But of course, we can control a dog's diet. But for us as humans, we need to be consciously aware of what's going on in our body and use tools, use ingredients that can support us. So if you're somebody that is in that kind of situation, this is where this particular revolutionary weight loss support ingredients in a particular formula could really assist you with your fat loss. And I know Dr. Curt's had great success with it. And we've got some awesome testimonials with these sort of ingredients and people using this sort of formulation. So do ask the person who's sharing this with you. There's a new breakthrough in fat loss. Now, I didn't get time to include the study, but if you, when I post this recording, I'll post the study with it. But there's new research showing that particular ingredients help turn white fat into energy for the brown fat to burn. And what they've found is it can increase substantially the amount of calories you burn in a day. So basically puts your body into super calorie burning mode, so fat burning mode. And it's a particular combination of herbal natural ingredients that can aid the body to do this. And it supports the body to go into a thermogenic state. It can increase the body temperature and also aid in burning those calories and weight loss. And of course, when you're in that mode, your energy levels are going to be increased. And when your energy levels are increased, you're going to have a better night's sleep as well. So there's ingredients that assist with having a good sleep too. If you have a good sleep, your ability to burn calories is much better. You've got more energy and greater activity. And also when we have a deeper sleep, we're actually burning calories while we're sleeping. So if you're awake all the time, you're not burning those calories that you would when you're sleeping. Plus, because you're awake and you're tired, you tend to reach for more food because you're trying to wake your brain up, because you go, God, I feel really tired. What can I do? And the first thing is you reach for something like sugary, something sweet to kind of pep you up. And of course, that's really no good for maintaining a healthy weight. So there are these ingredients. There is new science that's come out. We're really fortunate to know about these ingredients, and anyone who's listening to the call, or if they've shared it with you, they know about it too. So, ask them about what these new ingredients are that have come through. And we've got some great before and after photos that were shared here of this gentleman who was using the particular ingredients in this brand new formulation that's been released. And you can see significant change in body appearance. I'm sure he's sleeping a lot better. I'm sure his confidence levels have gone up and his mood will have gone up too. Because when we're overweight, lots of excess weight puts the body in a constant low grade inflammation state. So, if you've got a health situation going on and you want optimum health, you really want to shift your body into a healthy weight range, because you're really going to facilitate your overall health and well-being. Not to mention the stress on the joints as well. If you're overweight, you've got more stress on your knees, your hips, and, life is a lot more difficult. Here's a young gentleman too. He's got really great results on this formula too. So that's pretty much it for today. We're just on the half hour. Curt, unfortunately, he's been cutting it out. But Dr. Curt does have a weight loss group. It's called Let's Lose Weight Together. It's on WhatsApp. If you're interested, message him or myself. I will put it in our Facebook group. So you can go there and click on it and join his group. Dr. Curt's always sharing amazing insights into new research, things that he's doing, how his day is going, how his eating is going. And there's a great little group to get involved in. So that's it for today. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this has motivated you for the weekend also to get out and do a little bit of exercise. I'm going to go for a walk. I've got my a smartwatch on that measures how many steps I do in a day. And so I try to keep that up at around, I think I'm up around 7,000 or 8,000 now, which is a lot better than what I was. So hopefully that motivates you to stay healthy for the weekend. And just remember, nobody's going to look after you as well as you can look after yourself. So take the time to give yourself some self-care and love. So I'll leave it there. I appreciate you getting on the call today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the information. And unfortunately, Curt lost reception, but we look forward to seeing you on the next call. And we've got some really great and exciting information coming up for this next month and the following months after. So have a great weekend, everyone. And thanks for joining us. Bye.